Wow, I didn't think this channel had that kind of pull, but Rivian actually listened to us. Thank goodness RJ is actually being reasonable on this one, and I'm grateful that my last video ended up being dated as quickly as it did. That's the kind of video that's great when it ends up being dated that fast. So yes, while they didn't announce it through a Twitter Spaces, Rivian made a tweet shortly before Reuters posted an article about Rivian officially following in the footsteps of Ford and GM by saying an adapter will be available in early 2024 so that R1T and R1S customers can access the Supercharger network. And in 2025, it seems like that's when the big switch is for everybody. They're going to be switching to NACS on the R1 platform. And yes, they confirmed that they will also be only supporting NACS with the R2 platform. Where I couldn't get an official confirmation, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of implied, is what the plan is on for the Rivian Adventure network. So they said in their blog post that they still intend on expanding the Adventure network and deploying more and more stations, but I'm curious if the Adventure network is going to be following in the same schedule of NACS adoption as the vehicles. Like, will they start to incorporate NACS in the Adventure network in 2025, or are they going to continue using CCS1 on the Adventure network chargers maybe for a few years after? They're not entirely clear, other than just they will continue to expand the Adventure network, which, as long as they've got the funding for it, I think this is a good thing. But my guess is they might want to stick with CCS1 a little bit longer than I would prefer, simply because they don't want to scare people away from buying today's vehicles. This was a big concern brought up in the comments whenever I talked about Rivian supporting NACS and me saying, yes, they should adopt it like right now. Based on all the discussions now happening at GM, Ford, and now Rivian, it makes me wonder if there's locked in like supplier agreements to use CCS1 until the end of 2024, or if Tesla will only make the North America charging standard work with superchargers until 2025. I don't exactly know why everybody wants to wait this long, but in terms of mass production, it may sound like a very far off distant year, but in reality, it's only like a year and a half from now. We're halfway through 2023, and I'm so grateful that I can finally like take a breath and say, yes, okay, Rivian is not as stubborn as we thought. Yes, they're listening. Yes, they didn't probably have much of a choice on this, but I'm glad to see that the Rivian customers and potential Rivian customers out there were able to pressure them and persuade them, yes, this is a good thing for America. Everybody should get on board this standard. And now I'm kind of happy to say, like, wow, in 2025, there shouldn't be a single electric truck in production that is still using CCS1, because we've got all of the pickup truck manufacturers. That even includes GM with the Hummer, Ford with the F-150, and now Rivian with the R1T. Everybody's on board with this NACS port, and it's just awesome to actually see the Tesla Charging Twitter handle like retweeting Rivian and agreeing to work with them. A lot of people were worried that because there's like ongoing lawsuits between Tesla and Rivian, that there must be some kind of bad blood and they're not going to be able to switch to NACS. This kind of extinguished all of those rumors and said, no, it doesn't matter. Tesla's willing to play a game with pretty much everybody now. If they're comfortable using Rivian with all of the employees that they poached for them and trade secrets that they stole, I feel like no one has an excuse now to not be making a similar announcement. I'm really hoping Lucid is also right around the corner about to announce NACS, and I also hope that to prevent Osborning, they are saying that NACS won't be ready until 2025, when in reality they might switch to it at some point in 2024, maybe very suddenly, so that it doesn't create a huge backlog of orders where a bunch of people go, hey, I'm just gonna wait a couple more months because then I'll have NACS and I won't have to use an adapter anymore. Maybe switching prematurely and not telling people when the official switch is going to happen might be the best way to refresh their vehicles, but that's wishful thinking on my part. My dream now of one port, one charge connector at every charging station you go to feels a little bit more real, and hopefully within the decade, CCS1 is just a long distant memory, kind of like, I don't know, Betamax or HD DVDs. But what do you guys think of Rivian's announcement? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.